All right, well, as promised, I'm going to now show you how effective and how the ThermoScent process actually works. And I'm actually going to use a demonstration of three individual specific pieces in order to be able to accurately describe to you the overall process. Now, this is actually one of our ThermoScents, and this is one that actually has a double pocket in it. Now, how you can tell that is when you turn it inside out, you'll notice that there's actually two separate pockets with a divider right here in the middle of this unit. Okay, so we make them in with two pockets. We also make them in a single pocket where there's only one pocket inside, which basically means that your heat source and your wick would come in contact on one style, where they would literally be separated with a membrane in the second style. We also make them in a double that has two pockets in them as well, and I'll describe that to you here in just a second as well. So you can see that we actually have a variety of some colors: the black, the green, the orange, and the yellow here. But let's talk about, and let's actually show you, does this work or does it not? Okay, so this is what our wick looks like in our heating source, and I'm going to set that aside. This particular one, I have a wick inside already, inside here, and I have a heat source in it. Okay, this one here, I have a wick and a heat source as well. This one, I actually have just a wick inside, no heat source in it. So what does this show us? Well, what this shows us is what happens when we actually apply heat to either a dry wick, heat to a wick that we're going to charge, or a wick without any heat at all. All right, so let's go ahead and put ourselves some scent in. I recommend that you use an eyedropper because that makes it very easy. You can notice I don't have to have gloves on per se, and you can actually just get yourself, I usually recommend about 3 to 6 eyedroppers full. 5 seems to be a pretty much so a magical number in this process. And we'll add one more here for the goodness sakes. All right, there we go. Now, the key to when you actually apply your attractant actually to your wick is have the wick inside the pouch already. Hold the tip of the eyedropper to the wick so it absorbs right in, as opposed to running off it and running to the bottom of your ThermoScent. Then go ahead and fold your flat back over. Now you'll notice that this one here actually has one of our strings actually on it, which allows us to be able to hang it from a tree. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one and I'm going to actually place it inside this poly bag, and I'm going to seal it up. Okay, there's one. Let's go to this other one here. This one actually has the heat source in it and the wick, but I'm not going to put anything, I'm not going to charge the wick with any kind of attractant at this point, just to be able to use it for demonstration purposes. And so you understand, when you take one of our heat sources, it's going to be a liquid, and when you move it and snap it, you'll notice that it goes from a liquid more into a gel, and it's instantaneous. That gel, will, after it cools, will actually become more of a solid. But this heat source, if you want to reuse it again and again, which I highly recommend, it's completely renewable, you actually just boil it in water for about 10 to 15 minutes until it goes completely clear again, extract out the boiling water, and use it again. So in other words, you can charge this back up at deer camp, you can use it to charge it up at your house, but as long as you have boiling water, you can make this thing work over and over again. It's going to run, it's going to last about anywhere between 20 and 40 minutes depending on the heat and whether or not you have it in one of our protective covers as well, which actually kind of insulates it. Now this, by the way, is heating to 130 degrees. So it's very, very warm to touch, so it could obviously be used as a hand warmer as well. But what we're using it for in this situation is a controlling mechanism to be able to heat our attractant or a cover scent. So I'm going to set this one aside, and again, when you know you've got it working, when you actually you feel the disc kind of move inside there, you just snap it sideways, and then of course you can kind of see how it gets solid, and you kind of squeeze it through, and then of course you start noticing it instantly getting warm. So let's fold this one up as well. Let's get another bag. We're going to drop it down inside our bag, and we will set it off to the other side. Now, the other one we have here actually is our heating device and our wick inside our ThermoScent. And let's go ahead and let's charge this one up. So I'm going to give it, again, 5 eyedroppers full here as well. And if you kind of hold it in the middle or towards the top, if you're going to be hanging your ThermoScent from a tree, it really kind of allows that scent to drip down inside the product as well. Don't just, make sure you hold it up against there. Now that I've got that inside, I'm going to go ahead and turn this one inside out. And I'm going to find my disc just by feeling it. And I'm going to snap it. And I feel it instantly start to get gelled up inside there and warm. And I'm going to take it and actually place it in one of our poly bags here as well. Now, while this is actually working, I'm going to go ahead and describe to you and actually show you a couple of things about some of our other products here. So for example, I mentioned that we actually make this in a dual pouch, which basically means that you have 2 wicks that you can use, and you can use 2 different types of heating devices in it, which basically just doubles up everything you've got. Now, this works very nicely, for example, if you want something to be able to hang it over a branch or a tree. So I actually have a couple of them in here because it adds a little bit of weight to it. You can see that you can hang it like this on a branch, a tree, over the edge of your tree stand, or flip it over to be able to keep the rain from getting in it. So anything that goes on that, as far as the weather is concerned, water, whatnot, is going to hit that and actually just run right off of it. So it's going to hit it, run off of the outside of your material, so it's not going to be diluting it. And again, it's very easy, very lightweight to be able to put. You can put these in your backpack, you can put them in your fanny pack, whatever, stick them in your pocket, whatever the case may be, and they're good to go. If you actually will notice, I've got, again, several different colors in it, and you can get them, as I mentioned, either in, and you can see this has got a single pad inside it, a single pocket in it. Now, the reason why we made them with a single pocket and a dual pocket is, well, somewhat obvious. One of which is we wanted to be able to separate our wick from our heat source. So that separation in there means that your wick and your heat source doesn't become contaminated. If that's a concern, I know for some people they want to be able to take them in their home and they don't want this to be contaminated. Of course, you can always take it and separate the 2 of them out and use hand sanitizer, wash it up. This doesn't dispense any kind of heat itself, any kind of scent itself, it's just the heat. And so you're not going to have to worry about there being a scent on this, and you can wash it with just regular hand soap, detergent, whatever the case may be. The wicks are something that can be just thrown away, and quite honestly, guys, you can get these wicks. Oftentimes your wife may have them laying around, or girlfriend may have them actually in their thing. It's a basic cosmetic makeup pad. We designed our product to be able to use those for the purpose of making sure we had something that you guys could readily find available to you as you change them out, throw them out, whatever the case may be. But I have found on many of my hunts that I'll actually take this to the woods, and I'll actually get several hunts out of one pouch by just changing the heat source actually out inside it. Okay. Now I flipped this one actually over here, and maybe you can start to see it start to deform. This actually is condensation. Condensation is coming because the fabric is actually breathing. What it's doing is it's actually driving, in this case, it's driving the wick, pushing the water, vapor out of it. So this is actually showing the demonstration that this product is breathing, just much so like your skin would breathe. But when it's breathing, it means that you're getting the aromatic benefit from it. The moisture is coming out, but not being transferred back actually in. The water that's actually inside here, just so you know, is not contaminated, and so it makes it very easy for being able to put this actually, again, against a garment, whatever the case may be, and use it without having to worry about tainting everything around you. So I can, and if I left this in here, this condensation will continue through the process. It will actually continue to be able to drive that actually out. But again, you'll notice that it takes place on this one mildly. The one without any kind of heat source, not at all. The one that's charged with heat, it's dramatic. And when you open it, oh boy, somebody in the office is not going to like this. When you open that actually up, you will see that it's not only is it still warm, but it is much more pungent and aromatic. and you can kind of feel that coming through. Now, of course, in the woods, you wouldn't be having it inside this polymer bag. You would simply be hanging it from a tree, much like we would with this one. So it's going to be hanging from a branch, so it's going to be breathing. That's what we call and refer to making it real. So if you're looking to be able to make your hunting real, make your attractant real, make sure you heat it, just like like the animal itself would have passed it through their body, and that is going to give you a much more viable product. Matter of fact, let me put it back in this. Here's one of the bags that doesn't have any condensation. It came from this one here. And if I stick it back inside there, you will notice that in just a few moments that this thing is going to start creating condensation again inside it. So out in the woods, this product is breathing. It's pushing the aromatic benefit of the cover scent or the attractant out. And if you want to, in the woods, hang one out before the hunt, that's great. If you don't want to hang one out before the hunt, if you see the wind changes and you need to instantly cover your scent instead of getting down and moving, pull one of these out, snap it, charge it up, and be able to hang it off the edge of your bow stand, your tree stand, whatever, and your hunt will continue throughout the day. Hope that kind of explains the way that it works. If you have any questions, make sure you contact us. Our best number is 866-949-2112. Just ask for myself, Darren Taylor. I'll be glad to jump on the phone and answer any questions you have about how the ThermoScent is revolutionizing and changing the hunting industry. Thank you.